originally from San Antonio, Texas. Moved to Los Angeles when I was 10 years old. Came here with my mom and two brothers and two sisters, and we settled in the northeast Los Angeles area. Northeast LA, it's now called Atwater Village. It's between Glassell Park and Elysian Valley, and it was very humble beginnings in my life, but we were surrounded by a tremendous amount of compassion and love by my mother. The value of hard work and the value of caring for others and giving to others was instilled in me very early. Well, I think first what's important to know about me is that I love this department and I love everything about this profession and this city that we're able to serve. But being honest with you, and I think many of the folks who have served alongside of me would say we weren't a very good police department at the time. We had a different way of doing things, and I mean that by saying our problem solving and figuring out solutions was arresting our way out of the problem, putting people in jail, as many people as we could be put in jail to give a sense of an accomplishment, that we're doing something, that we are changing things. After the riots, '92, there was a very strong shift in the mindsets of this profession, and especially with our executives in this profession, about to change to a much more engaged community policing philosophy. And fortunately for me, things happened for a reason. And in 1994, I was selected as a senior lead officer working in Rampart Division. And that changed my life. That changed my life in this department. And I truly got to see firsthand what it meant to be sitting in the same living room with a family that was very similar to what I grew up in, and hearing their stories about not being able to go out on the streets because of the narcotics that were being sold, or the gang members that were extorting on the streets, and not being able to feel comfortable walking their kids to school because they had to step over, prostitution or discarded needles or syringes that were on the streets. And to me, that became a moment where I'm going to make a difference in this community. Building trust is a big part of community policing, and building trust takes lots and lots of effort and lots of work, and you got to build equity. You got to build equity in your communities so that when we do have a misstep, and we do have missteps still, that we lose the trust in our communities, that we still have enough of a foundation that we can still work together and mend it, whatever that may be, versus it completely collapsing and having to start all over again. So the Hollenbeck Police Business Council is a conduit to the police department and to the communities, and in many ways a safe place where people come together, safe people that they trust, that work together on building programs in the community and continuing to forge through the issues that are troubling our community members, and just having a way of creating a fusion of a commitment, a fusion of trust, and a fusion of service. My hope for this department is that we continue to forge better relationships in every single one of our communities that we serve. But my single most hope that I have is for the kids. And it's for restorative justice and diversion in lieu of arrest for our kids, especially for our kids who come from our communities of color. Being arrested as a juvenile really diminishes any opportunity that they're going to have in life. So I'm hopeful that through our police department and partnering with a number of community-based organizations and opportunities that are out there, is that we'll give every youth an opportunity to have a productive life, be put on a path where they can make a difference themselves. Every time Danny Hernandez's name has come up, it's a person who's very endeared to the community. He's endeared to many of the other stakeholders who are out there doing the same work that Danny's doing. Anybody who cares about investing in kids has got to have a great heart, and Danny Hernandez has a great heart. I've watched what Danny has done, and everyone who surrounds himself around Danny, and use that in my own community policing philosophy. If you look at Los Angeles being, over 400 square miles and has 4 million people who live in it, when you break down community, that's really where everything happens, right? Everything happens in the community, whether it's at the local market, ballpark, the gym, the gymnasium, where things would go. things for people to go. And then, Hollenbeck Station is a place people in that community know and trust. The Hollenbeck Youth Center is a place that people know and trust. And you merge those two together and you have a great combination for building trust and helping others in the community. Yeah, it means a lot to me. I remember in 1994, 95, hearing about this Miracle on First Street and things that were going on at the Hollenbeck Youth Center. I've been to Miracle on First Street, and I've been to the inner city games. So it's always been something that in my career on this department that I've been part of. When I'm out in the community and I'm talking to the kids, it gives me a great sense of pride to look in their eyes and see how happy they are to see a police officer, and how happy they are to see a police officer that looks like them and that understands them and didn't grow up too differently from them. It's an honor. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Oscar De La Hoya, Tommy Lasorda, Mark Sanchez, the list goes on. Just it fills me that what I've been able to do did matter, and I'm going to continue to do those things. So I'm very grateful, and I just want to thank Danny Hernandez and everyone at the Hollenbeck Police Business Council. My name is Robert Arcos, and we are Inner City Games.